Shanti, shalom, shalom, shanti. Peace, everybody. This is Emmanuel coming to you once again with another episode of the Sex Magic Podcast, where raising your vibration and relationships come together so you can experience oneness. By the end of today's episode, you are going to know how to handle seeing your ex with somebody new. I got three things that you can do to help in this. If this is your first time here, welcome. Go ahead and leave a comment. Leave a like. I'll definitely welcome you to the tribe. Welcome you to this channel. If you're already an ascender, welcome home. Let's get this party started. Hey, everybody, this is Emmanuel once again. Wow, so today's topic is interesting. We're going to talk about 3 ways on how to handle seeing your ex with somebody new, but this can also just be about areas in your life where you're triggered in some way, shape, or form in terms of your ex. I discovered this, oddly enough, just randomly after I was coming back from the arcade. For those that don't know, I'm obsessed with Dance Dance Revolution, so I play Dance Dance Revolution a few nights a week, and on this particular night, I was just walking to my car, and then just hit me. It was like all this information, all these things just came together, because at the time, I was dealing with somebody who I thought I was over. Like, I thought the charge was over. So this, if you've ever been in a relationship or have had an ex where the closure wasn't what you really thought, you never really had that clearing conversation, and there was just still that energy charge, and though you thought that you were done and that you were over it, there was still this charge, and you wanted to not have that charge. You wanted to reduce that charge should you see this person with somebody else, or they trigger something that's really deep within you in terms of them moving on. That could be you seeing them post something on social media with somebody new about them living their best life, you seeing them moving on without you, whatever that is that triggers you in terms of what they're experiencing in their life. This is going to help you a lot. So let's just get into it. One of the first things that I realized was the importance of Stoicism. For those that don't know, Stoicism, it's like 2100, 2000 years old. But if you read people like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, these people are life philosophers to the T. These boys, I mean, oh my gosh. They were all about how can we live a better life? How can we use philosophy and theology in a very practical way so that we can enhance our living experience here on earth? And so one of the things that I realized when I was reading them was something that Seneca said. And he started talking about visualizing the worst case scenario. Visualizing the worst case scenario in detail and repetitively. So if you have an ex, or if you're in a relationship right now, he would say that, and I've even experienced this myself, he would say that meditating and visualizing on the worst thing that could happen. So maybe the worst thing that could happen for you is if you see your ex with somebody who looks better than you, has more money than you, is more, whatever, spiritually evolved, if that's a thing, than you, and you just feel totally outclassed, and that intimidates you. Not only that, but then you have to think about them being intimately involved and all these other things. Maybe the trigger is something else regarding your ex or regarding anybody. What they would say, Seneca and a lot of Stoics would say, if you prepare yourself with the most grandiose visualization of what could go wrong or what could trigger you, what will happen if it actually does come into the physical realm is that since you've already prepared yourself, it won't have as big of an emotional impact on you. So this is when playing defense is the best thing to do. You're playing defense, right? You're not going into a situation or randomly stumbling into a situation you're totally unprepared. That's what we're doing here in this episode. We are equipping you with defense. And you, like I said, you can use this in your intimate relationships, but there's other applications to this. I just want you guys to get the essence of what I'm talking about, right? So, what's the worst case scenario? What would hurt you and tear you up to the core? I know for me, it was probably seeing my ex with somebody else, or something like that. That was the trigger. And I read so many books and so many things, and nothing was coming together but these 3 steps. And that is step 1. Visualizing in grave detail. What's the worst that can happen? So think about the social media. Think about seeing them in person. Think about anything that you can dream of that's grandiose. Think about it and go through the emotional process with it. Right? Sit with that. And then the cool thing is, by the end of once I'm done with these 3, one of the things you guys will know is now you'll be able to incorporate step 2 and 3 into your visualization for step 1, which will better prepare you for anything that could happen. Okay? So step number 2 is really interesting. It's the revelation of oneness. So let's say your ex, it ended, I don't know, in a way that blindsided you, or you were dumped, or you were in an abusive situation. It just wasn't harmonious anymore. There was just a lot of discord. And let's say you wanted it, or you thought you wanted it. You were in love and you were attached and all these things. I've definitely been there. The thing about it is, you played a special role in their life, right? There was something that you got out of that experience and something that they got out of this experience, right? So one of the things that you'll realize is that when you reflect upon your own life, most jobs or career or people that you've met that have had a significant impact, what are they actually doing in your life? What is the actual role that they're playing in your life? One of the things that you'll realize is that they are helping you become a higher version, a better version of yourself. They are helping you ascend so that you can express yourself in the highest, most pure way, right? They are helping you connect with your real self, not your separated ego self. So they are literally guiding and leading you into union, into oneness. Even in the situations that end in disappointment and loss and hurt and heartbreak, I'm sure you can reflect how those experiences in some way, shape, or form were formative to who you are today, right? And so if we're able to realize that oneness is where we've been going our whole life, when we stood up for ourselves, or when we quit a job or a major, or something that we were attached to that wasn't us, when we broke free from the tradition that our parents and the box that they wanted to put us in, whatever that thing was, right, that initiated our spiritual path, is bringing us into oneness, right? So the lessons that you learned and they learned were for oneness sake. Okay? So realize this. As they go on and as they move on, everything is leading to oneness, right? Even if their development is a little slower, their curriculum is a little slower, right? Everybody has, I would say, faster and slower curriculum in which they have to dive into oneness faster. But for you, it's good for you to recognize that oneness is where they're going. So if you see them with somebody else, know that that person is there for oneness sake. Like you are there for oneness sake. They're going to help that person grow in some miraculous form that you don't even have to worry about. But if not even in this lifetime, in the next, that they are here for union's sake. That everything that they go through in this lifetime is for union's sake, and you played a very sacred role in that process. Because you played a sacred role, you can release and let go And know that your own experiences that are going to lead you into the higher states of you are on their way. They're going to allow you to be the vessel of love that you know yourself to be is on its way, right? So that leads us into the third one. And that's they chose and you chose. The script, as I guess the Course in Miracles says, is already written. And I think a lot of it is. In many ways, the meeting that you guys had and the connection and the length of time that it underwent, it served a purpose. Perhaps you were desiring to learn something from this relationship, and so were they. Whatever it may be, know that it's already written, right? Their higher self, their better self, their greater self wrote a plan for oneness for this lifetime. And you guys shared in that experience of oneness, right? So knowing that, know that it's not even personal, right? If you see them with somebody else, they chose that person before they even got on this planet to teach them something about oneness, right? So just know that that person is playing out their role, whatever that role may be. The role may be a week, a month, a year, whatever. Even if your ex gets, let's say you want revenge on your ex and you want them to be hurt. Know that even if they're hurt, they're going to go back to oneness, right? Even if they harden their heart is going to end up opening back up. There's nothing they can do to stop this train of oneness, of open-hearted living, of authentic self-expression. There's nothing that can stop this train. It can only be delayed by closing our heart and running away and running from the yearnings inside of us, right? So I want you guys to meditate on this, right? Because when we bring this all together, you see your ex walking through, you haven't seen them in a while, but you've been doing the visualization. And in the visualization, you see them showing up to one of your favorite spots, somewhere where you and your ex spend a lot of time. And they're with somebody new. The mind training is this, to see them in that grocery store or that restaurant or that park or wherever you spend a lot of time with the new person. And seeing them see you and you seeing them. But also to start seeing yourself adopt the mindset of being joyful for their path of oneness, for their path of ascension. That brings you joy, not triggering you and making your whole nervous system shake and worry on why they left you. No, it's all for oneness' sake. In that, you'll be able to find forgiveness. In that, you'll forgive yourself. You'll realize this had nothing to do with you. You were not the problem. You were perfect. You two came together to learn certain lessons, and because of them, you have an opportunity to go to the next level of oneness, and they do as well. So the new person is here for oneness, right? They're here for oneness, whatever that lesson may be. And so you can rest and you can trust in that. As you continue to play this video and this visualization in your mind's eye, you'll realize how comfortable you are with that. How more assured you are that all is well. And that there's nothing you have to claw at or fight at. You can really allow and release all of these things. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So here's my challenge to you guys. If you're going through a situation like this and you're still, dealing with X things, apply this to your own situation in whatever context that is. To visualize, well, first write down what's the worst thing that would trigger you. Is it seeing them on social media married to somebody or in a relationship with somebody? Is it them slandering your name? Is it them, I don't know. Whatever that worst thing is or that worst fear is, know that even when they act out of their shadow self, that their higher self is going to have to come through eventually. And so you can start to see them as their higher self, even in the now, if they're operating out of their more shadow self. And you can use that for compassion's sake. Because everybody has a life challenge. All of us have something that we're going through, that we're attempting to overcome, weaknesses that we have innate to us. And they're working on it. So picture the person who's already gotten through the verbal abuse or the narcissistic tendencies or whatever it is, or their uncertainty or the game playing, and know that your goal is oneness and ascension, because you're an ascender. You're listening to this podcast. You're an ascender. So because of that, even if you see something that's of a lower vibrational quality, you know that you are equipped with the tools to meet it and match it in such a higher fashion. That there's no reason or no way that you have to go down to their level. You can just recognize love with love, even when it's not being shown to you. So that's what I want for you guys to do. Envision, write down the worst case scenario, what can happen, use the Stoic technique, and then combine these energy principles of oneness and that the script is already written. Incorporate that into the vision. And see yourself seeing them and then instantly being like, this is okay. They're just going for oneness. This is okay. And I'm happy for them. Because this is what they needed to grow into their highest self. Because honestly, if you didn't provide the benefit that you were to provide, yeah, you guys would still be together. But if you taught them the lesson that they needed to learn, and they taught you the lesson that you needed to learn, and you realize that the experience with them was closing your heart more than opening your heart, that's how you know that it's time to move forward. Right? It took me so long, guys, so long to recognize this. Because I have a hard time. I don't know about y'all, but I personally, I'm super empathetic. I have a very difficult time letting people go. I have a very difficult time because I put my heart into like everything and anything, especially people. Like I put my heart into it. So to release people has been something that I've really been learning. And so it's just tantamount just to recognize when you're in an experience and you want it so bad, but you feel like every time you put out your energy that it's not being received, or something's happening that inflicts pain and constriction rather than expansion and openness, then that's the telltale sign that it's just time to release. You've taken this as far as possible. And so the game, the trick, right? We talk about masters of intuition and stuff. The trick is something that we're all going to work on, is to recognize right when that energy shifts. Because if you catch it at the peak, one of the things I realize is that you can have a closing conversation and you can allow your partner to go on their path and just be so okay with that. That's the place of mastery. As soon as it happens, noticing the little shifts in the energy field. That takes time, and that's part of the reason why we're here in this lifetime to learn these things. So, hey, guys, if this was beneficial for you, clap one time. Woo! And since it was beneficial, go ahead and leave a subscribe, like the video, comment. I definitely will respond to you. Give me some suggestions on what I should do next. And yeah, y'all, be good, be well. Yeah, hit me. Peace.